best move. Doesn't matter if you win or lose as long as you give it your best. Pass the ball, someone's waiting. Trust will be the key to getting his friendship.
Welcome back to the second part of the Slam Dunk Recap, where we pick up the tale of Sakuragi Hanamichi, a delinquent and gang leader, faces rejection from 50 girls in middle school. Now, he has started fresh at Shohoku High School with newfound hope. His life takes an unexpected turn when he encounters Haruko, a girl who loves basketball. To win her heart, he decides to join the Shohoku basketball team, even though many challenges lie ahead. Despite the obstacles, he works hard to showcase his skills to the team and secures a spot. However, there's still much room for improvement in his journey. In this recap, we journey deeper into Sakuragi's whirlwind of emotions, his quest for love, and his path to becoming a basketball sensation. It's a slam-tastic ride filled with highs, lows, and rim-rattling dunks. So, grab your virtual front row seat and let's dive back into the world of Slam Dunk. A practice match against their rivals, Ryonen, is just around the corner, and this might mark Sakuragi's debut match. Team Captain Akagi is putting him through rigorous training to get him ready for the upcoming showdown. As the Shohoku team heads to face their rivals, they notice that Ryonen is already warming up. Right away, a strong tension becomes apparent between Akagi and Ryonen's captain, Bozumi, just before the match begins. Coach Anzai goes on to select the players who will be taking part in the match. Sakuragi waits anxiously, hoping to hear his name. One by one, the slots are assigned, and only the last one remains. To his disappointment, even that final slot is given to Rukawa, leaving Sakuragi feeling crushed. However, Coach Anzai steps in and reassures him, stating that Sakuragi is a secret weapon for their team, to be used when the time is right. As the game approaches, Sakuragi confronts Sendo, determined to bring him down. With tensions running high, the game finally kicks off. Things get intense right from the beginning. Ryonen makes a steal, allowing Sendo to score, and Shohoku's defense appears shaky. However, Akagi steps up and manages to block every shot from the opposing team, thwarting their attempts to score. He confidently declares that his team will reach 100 points. Ryonen regroup, ready to secure a victory against Shohoku. They launch a relentless offensive, gradually cornering their opponents. They even disrupt Shohoku's passes and manage to steal the ball from their opponents. The match intensifies as both teams fight for control. Ryonen's coach attempts to motivate his players, urging them to secure a 30-point lead. In response to this pressure, Sakuragi commits a technical foul. Sendo, with his impressive passes, helps Ryonen quickly establish a 19-point lead. Yozomi and Sendo's imposing presence casts a shadow over the Shohoku players. Despite the challenge, Rukawa remains calm and unaffected. As Sendo attempts to score, Rukawa steps in, intercepts his shot, and grabs a rebound. He embarks on a one-on-one showdown with Sendo, weaving his way through other players. However, Sendo pursues him relentlessly. Meanwhile, Akagi, biding his time, receives a pass and scores Shohoku's first point with a thunderous dunk. This marks a turning point in the game. Shohoku finally gets serious and manages to stage a comeback by the end of the first half, with the score now standing at 42-50 in favor of Ryonen. With the momentum on their side, Shohoku continues to score at the beginning of the second half, narrowing the gap to just 5 points. Rukawa displays great ball handling skills and scores repeatedly, making a significant impact. Noticing this, Ryonen's coach calls for a swift strategy meeting and scolds his players, emphasizing the need to defeat Shohoku. During this meeting, Sakuragi eavesdrops and instigates a confrontation with Sendo. Akagi intervenes, trying to keep the game focused. As the game progresses, Sendo begins to taunt Sakuragi, adding tension to the already intense match. Furthermore, Sendo successfully shuts down Rukawa, preventing Shohoku from making advances. Coach Anzai, recognizing the need for a change, instructs Sakuragi to warm up and be ready to enter the match with only 9 minutes remaining. In a twist of fate, Akagi gets injured, leaving Sakuragi to take his place on the court. At first, he's filled with nerves as he steps into this crucial moment against Yozumi's formidable team. However, Rukawa's sharp taunts act like a jolt of electricity, pulling him back into focus, and he regains his composure after a swift kick. With newfound determination and motivation, the entire team rallies together. They regain their lost momentum and gear up to mount a comeback and regain control of the game. The intensity on the court escalates as they work tirelessly to shift the tide of the game back in their favor, leaving everyone in the stands on the edge of their seats. After a quick bandage for Yozumi's injury, the game resumes. Sakuragi is assigned to guard the opponent's captain, and he follows through with determination. When Yozumi receives a pass, Sakuragi swiftly intercepts it and sends the ball away. He showcases his athletic ability, earning compliments from Sendo for his speed. However, Yozumi remains unfazed and instructs his team to pass him the ball, intending to score over the red-haired delinquent. When the moment arrives, he struggles to do so. Sakuragi capitalizes on this opportunity, using his high speed to steal the ball from Yozumi. He makes a break for the basket to score, but Yozumi manages to prevent his layup. In a surprising twist, Sakuragi defies expectations by not passing the ball to Rukawa as everyone assumed. Instead, he catches the opposing team off guard with a clever pass to Kagure. With a jump shot, Kagure sinks the basket, and this unexpected move leaves everyone in the stadium astounded. Shohoku is mounting a strong comeback, and this bold play by Sakuragi is a major turning point in the game. Sakuragi's determination and stellar performance earn him compliments not only from Ryonin's coach, but also from Sendo, their formidable opponent. Shohoku continues to chip away at their rival's lead, gradually closing the gap as the game approaches its conclusion. In this critical stage, Sakuragi focuses on applying the rebounding skills that Akagi taught him. He pulls off an incredible rebound, stealing the ball from both Yozumi and Sendo with an amazing jump, leaving everyone in shock. Ryonin holds a 3-point lead over Shohoku, and it's becoming clear that Sakuragi's presence is making a significant impact. Coach Toka of Ryonin instructs Yozumi to focus exclusively on targeting Sakuragi. The Ryonin coach firmly believes that the game's result depends on how Sakuragi performs. Yozumi successfully blocks Sakuragi from obtaining rebounds and scoring, contributing to his team's efforts to extend their lead. In a surprising turn of events, Akagi makes a dramatic return to the stadium, substituting in for Rukawa. His presence alone boosts the team's morale once more, filling the air with a sense of renewed determination. Despite having only 3 minutes left until the game's end, Shohoku still finds themselves trailing. Nonetheless, Sakuragi's memory is suddenly flooded with the rigorous training Akagi had put him through, his mentor's words echoing in his mind. Fueled by this newfound determination, he springs into action, managing to prevent Yozumi from scoring through a crucial rebound. The return of Shohoku's captain puts Ryonin in a tough spot, and Shohoku finally takes the lead for the first time in the game, albeit just by a single point. Sendo is amazed at how good Shohoku has become, thus he begins to take the game seriously. He uses his incredible speed to leave Sakuragi in the dust and scores with a jump. Akagi tries to stop him but fails and even commits a foul in the process, giving Ryonin a free throw. This play puts Ryonin back in the lead, making the game even more thrilling and unpredictable. Sakuragi remains determined to personally defeat Sendo. Rukawa is subbed back into the game, and together they target Sendo, yet they continue to struggle to stop his advances as he scores once more. With just a minute left on the clock, Ryonin still holds a 4-point lead. Anzai then calls both Rukawa and Sakuragi to approach to tell them of his plan. Anzai believes that Shohoku still has a chance if they can prevent Ryonin from scoring another basket. However, Sendo regains possession of the ball. Sakuragi and Rukawa make another attempt to stop him, but with only a minute left, Shohoku is still behind by 4 points, the pressure is on, and the game is coming down to the wire. Sendo keeps pushing forward, with Sakuragi and Rukawa in hot pursuit. He eventually reaches the basket and prepares to take his shot. Akagi attempts to stop him, allowing Sakuragi to catch up and block the shot. In the process, Sakuragi accidentally passes the ball to Rukawa, who capitalizes on this opportunity and scores a 3-pointer. Ryonin remains in the lead. As the seconds tick away, Ryonin decides to employ a stalling tactic, hoping to let the clock run out in their favor, leaving only 15 seconds on the clock. Akagi seizes this opportunity and makes a critical steal, snatching the ball from Ryounen's possession. He quickly passes it to Rukawa, who's pursued closely by Sendo. In a heart-pounding moment, Rukawa releases a last-minute pass to Sakuragi. Time seems to slow down as Sakuragi takes flight, soaring towards the basket. With a burst of energy, he executes a spectacular slam dunk, igniting the crowd and giving Shohoku the lead. As they celebrate their lead, Ryounen seizes the opportunity and quickly goes on the offense. Sendo manages to score, securing the victory for Ryounen. Sakuragi is left shell-shocked, finding it difficult to accept the loss. Despite the defeat, Sakuragi has played brilliantly in his first game and vows to defeat Sendo the next time, along with Rukawa. The loss serves as a valuable experience and motivation for the Shohoku team to come back stronger in their future encounters. The following day at school, Sakuragi is still in a sour mood, carrying the weight of the previous day's loss. However, his day takes a positive turn when he unexpectedly encounters Haruko. A kind compliment from her works like magic, instantly lifting his spirits. Her words have the power to brighten even his gloomiest days. Haruko suggests that they go shopping together to pick out new basketball shoes for Sakuragi. It's a thoughtful gesture that further warms his heart. As they browse through the store, Sakuragi's unique charisma comes into play. He manages to secure a high-quality pair of basketball shoes at a remarkable discount, paying just 30 yen, using his intimidating personality to skillfully haggle for the deal. With his new shoes in hand, he heads to basketball practice and trains hard, driven by the determination to one day defeat Sendo. During practice, Akagi talks with the team manager, Ayako, inquiring if that guy can play again, referring to Sakuragi's readiness. Meanwhile, Sakuragi's gang gets into a skirmish with a senior named Ryota Miyagi, adding another layer of intrigue to his high school life. However, Yuhei manages to prevent a full-blown brawl between the two gangs, maintaining some order but the tension remains high. The next day, Ayako learns of Ryota's return. He had been hospitalized after a fight and is now back at school. Ayako, along with Sakuragi, tries to locate him, and they find him surrounded by a group of seniors who appear to be targeting him. As soon as Ryota spots Ayako with Sakuragi, he breaks into tears. It becomes evident that Ryota harbors a deep crush on Ayako, and his jealousy towards Sakuragi gets the better of him. In a moment of irrationality, he lashes out at Sakuragi, throwing a punch that ignites an all-out brawl. Even the seniors who had originally targeted Ryota get caught up in the melee, resulting in further chaos and injuries. The situation spirals out of control, but it comes to an abrupt halt when Ayako and Haruko rush to the scene after hearing the escalating commotion. Their presence helps restore some semblance of order, and they intervene to calm the situation down. Ayako, keen on resolving the tension, decides to send both Sakuragi and Ryota to the basketball club in an attempt to channel their heated confrontation in a more constructive direction. However, their one-on-one match on the court quickly escalates into another volatile exchange, with the two constantly stealing the ball from each other. Just when it seems like another fight is inevitable, Akagi arrives in the nick of time, quelling the brewing storm and allowing them to return to their training. After school, Kagure and Akagi have a conversation at a cafe. Akagi is determined to reach and win the national championship, showing his commitment to their basketball team's success. Later that night, Sakuragi and Ryota coincidentally cross paths. Sakuragi can't resist teasing Ryota, humorously warning him to be cautious, or Ayako might decide to end their relationship. However, these words hit Ryota in a vulnerable spot, and he unexpectedly bursts into tears. Ryota then confides in Sakuragi, sharing his heartfelt story. He reveals that his motivation for playing basketball was rooted in a desire to impress Ayako. Yet, he believes that his efforts have gone unnoticed, and he's left with a sense of unrequited affection. Sakuragi, upon hearing Ryota's emotional confession, feels a profound empathy for his fellow basketball player. This heartfelt exchange bridges the gap between them, and they begin to connect on a deeper level, finding common ground in their shared experiences. On the other hand, Mitsui, the person Ryota had a fight with before, is still determined to seek revenge after his pride was shattered. His friend Tetsuo offers to help him in this quest. After a few days, while the basketball team is in the middle of training, Mitsui and Tetsuo, along with their gang, arrive at Shohoku High School. They head towards the gym, arrogantly insulting the basketball team and the gym's facilities. Ryota, not seeking trouble, tries to resolve the situation without resorting to violence. However, his attempts lead to him being outnumbered and attacked by the opposing gang. The tension and conflict escalate, posing a new challenge for the Shohoku basketball team. Sakuragi attempts to intervene, but Ryota insists he stays out of it, knowing that if things turn physical, the team might be dismissed. As Ryota is about to be struck once more, Sakuragi steps in to stop Mitsui from doing so. Yasuda, a regular player, also tries to de-escalate the situation but ends up getting hit. Rukawa, angered by Mitsui's derogatory comments about their gym and team, confronts him. The situation escalates into a physical altercation. One of the delinquents strikes Rukawa on the head, causing him to bleed profusely. Rukawa eventually loses control and retaliates, nearly crushing one of the foe's hands. Ayako intervenes and pleads with Rukawa to stop. In response, one of the troublemakers slaps her. This proves to be the last straw for Ryota, who loses control and begins to senselessly beat the person who dared to hit Ayako. Along with Rukawa, they deal with the minor troublemakers. However, Tetsuo, a professional fighter, proves to be a formidable opponent. He overpowers both Rukawa and Ryota, leaving only Sakuragi unfazed. Sakuragi takes a stand against Tetsuo, but soon realizes he is facing a formidable adversary. As the rest of the troublemakers recover and rise again, Sakuragi finds himself in a difficult situation. However, his friends come to the rescue, leveling the playing field. Yuhai takes charge, delivering a brutal beating to Mitsui, while Sakuragi faces off against Tetsuo. Despite being heavily injured, Sakuragi manages to learn how to block Tetsuo's punches and, with sheer determination, lands a solid punch straight to his opponent's face. This shift in the fight begins to turn the tide in their favor. Meanwhile, Akagi, having finished his extra class, is on his way to the gym, unaware of the intense confrontation taking place within.
Hi guys! The first part of Slam Dunk was fun, wasn't it? Basketball's great, let's play it together! Let's play basketball, guys! You feel like the wind when you've got the ball and go to the basket! Let's go for it! It's cool to be with your brothers!
Welcome back to the third part of the Slam Dunk, where we continue the hilariously motivating tale of Sakuragi, a new basketball player not yet acquainted with the game's finer points. As his and Yuhai's brawl against Mitsui and his gang continues, buckle in for the ultimate destination for all things basketball. It's time to slam dunk like a pro. Get ready to witness jaw-dropping dunks and epic matches. Join us as we witness this journey of a comically brilliant basketball team hoping to become the very best, and let's travel through the brilliant story of Slam Dunk once again. Yuhai punches Mitsui and ferociously asks if he's going to come by the gym again, but he doesn't answer. Meanwhile, Sakuragi keeps beating up Tetsuo for his mates and for the mop he broke, and proclaims that he's figured out all his punches as the onlookers gawp at him in shock. Kogure steps up and tells Yuhai to stop, but Mitsui angrily slaps him and tells him to get lost, but Kogure seems unaffected and tells him to be more mature. Akagi slowly enters the gym and blocks the door behind him, telling the teachers that his team is trying to increase their stamina and endurance alone. He steps up to Mitsui and slaps him a few times before Kogure explains to the others that he was also part of the Shohoku Basketball Club. After getting named the MVP for the regional championship, he enrolled in Shohoku to everyone's shock and proclaimed that he'd take the team to nationals, which had seemed like a believable goal at the time because of his incredible prowess during the first practice match. He seemed to easily be the best player and easily surpassed Akagi, who at the time had really bad technique despite being 193 centimeters tall. But all that had changed later as Kogure disbelievingly thinks about how much he's changed since then. Kogure tells them about a practice match in which Akagi was facing off against Mitsui. The game had seemed hopelessly one-sided at first, with Mitsui's superior technique and play, but Akagi had suddenly rushed against him to stop his dunk and had surprisingly succeeded owing to his sheer size after which the players happily acknowledged that they might have a chance as Mitsui and knowingly named him the Gorilla. When the game had resumed, Akagi had told his teammates to leave Mitsui to him, and even though he was having trouble stopping him, he was starting to slowly chip away at him. As their game had resumed with Akagi getting better and better, Mitsui had furiously decided to dunk a game stopper, but had injured and hurt himself before being rushed to a hospital. Later, when Kogure had visited him, he'd seen Mitsui's picture from his middle school championship and asked why he decided to join Shohoku, to which he'd told him that it was because of their teacher, Anzai, who'd motivated him when he'd similarly injured himself in the finals. He'd gotten up and dunked the final shot that won them the match, winning them the championship. He smiles and confidently proclaims that he'll get better and go beat Akagi, as the others confusingly wonder why he hadn't kept his promise later. Later, while they were playing a practice match, Mitsui had entered the gym with his crutches and told everyone that he'll be able to make it to the Inter-High qualifiers. He had started visiting the team every day, and this is much to the doctor's bemusement, and he told him to not be so reckless at his stage or else his ankle might take much longer to heal. But Mitsui had given his words no heed and started playing in the practice matches after getting relieved from his crutches, but when he'd done a high jump to dunk from afar, he'd injured his ankle in a much worse way, after which the doctor had told him that it'd take a month to recover, meaning that he won't be able to participate in the Inter-High qualifiers. He'd come to see Shohoku's match and sadly left, after which he had never returned to the basketball gym. In the present, Mitsui punches Kogure and angrily states he doesn't like basketball, but Kogure grabs his collar and asks where all his passion for taking the team to the finals. Coach Anzai abruptly opens the door and enters before Mitsui slowly starts crying and says he wants to play basketball. Later, as the team is having a practice match, and Mitsui boldly enters the gym with his hair properly cut. As the team is practicing, Kogure decides to go a little easy on Mitsui since a 2-year gap is very big for an average player, but Mitsui dribbles past him and dunks the shot with ease, making Kogure angrily wonder why he decided to pity him. Sakuragi steps up next and expertly gets past the players before jumping high to slam a dunk, but gets distracted by Haruko entering the gym and throws it outside the basket before quickly rushing over to blushingly ask how he did. The team then goes to see the match schedules and find out that their first match is with Muradai. The next day, Sakuragi ends up not sleeping at all because of his excitement and goes to run a bit to get some light exercise in, dazedly thinking of when he'd become the star player. All the girls would madly swoon over him and Haruko will try to propose to him. He abruptly gets woken up by Haruko, because of whom he falls backward in surprise before jogging with her, as she tells him that she introduced him to the basketball team because she believes in his potential much to his happiness. Later in class, she remarks it should be time by now. Meanwhile, the Shohoku and Muradai teams enthusiastically enter the match grounds. As the match starts, Sakuragi, who's sitting on the bench with Mitsui, Rukawa, and Ryota, asks Coach Anzai to let him into the match, but he declines and tells him that it's his punishment for fighting, and the other two annoyingly get up and start telling off Mitsui for getting them into trouble while he ignores their remarks, occasionally quietly dropping an insult or two. They see that Shohoku is having difficulty with Muradai because of them targeting only Akagi, which considerably weakens the team and pressurizes them. Akagi wearily tries to get their enthusiasm back, but they can't even chant properly. Mitsudai stops Akagi's dunk through a foul, and a player remarks that it doesn't matter how good a player is if they're able to stop them through any means possible. Meanwhile, Haruko happily notes down how many points each player will make and says they'll be able to win no matter what. Back at the game, Akagi rushes forward with the ball before passing it to Kogure, who runs forward and throws it back to him as he jumps up and scores a point, surprising everyone with their technique. Coach Anzai asks the benchers if they'll fight again, and when they promise not to, sends them into the court as they enthusiastically get ready to turn the tides. Seeing the newfound positivity on the Shohoku team, the players on Muradai decide to track all of the players individually as Akagi tells Sakuragi to not hold the team back, much to his embarrassment. As the game resumes, Akagi lands a dunk and Ryota successfully dodges a player and passes the ball to Mitsui, who does a shot from afar and gets it in. Sakuragi jealously looks at them, but Hikoichi shouts out from the stands and tells him to not worry since he hasn't made any rebounds yet, but he annoyingly starts telling him off for not bringing cute girls to cheer him on, and the others tell Hikoichi to not talk to Sakuragi again since he's damaging their reputation. Mitsui successfully lands another one in, and Akagi remarks that his skill is as good as ever before Sakuragi runs forward to dunk and receive his glory, but gets pushed by the Muradai team who are given a foul. The coach awards Sakuragi a penalty, but the others worryingly get ready for a rebound since he's never practiced free shots at all, and Sakuragi accidentally wastes the allotted 5 seconds of the first shot and loses a point, but he throws the second one and jumps for a rebound before getting blocked by Rukawa, who successfully dunks it in, evening the score. Sakuragi angrily starts pestering Rukawa and tells him to not get near him again. As the game resumes, Muradai's players get ready to dunk another one in, but as one of them nears the goalpost, he gets stopped by 3 Shohoku players and passes it, but Ryota gets the ball, runs forward but gets blocked, so Sakuragi tells him to pass the ball, but he throws it to Rukawa, who successfully dunks it in. Sakuragi approaches Ryota and asks him why he didn't pass the ball, so he answers that he didn't want it to get blocked before the two starts fighting each other, but quickly stop when Coach Anzai looks over at them. At timeout, the Muradai coach swaps in a large, bald student named Nato for Miyamoto and inwardly remarks that they stole him from the rugby team just for this. Later, Nato intentionally bumps into Sakuragi and receives a penalty as the game starts to turn in their favor, but Sakuragi decides to return the favor and pushes him a bit too hard as he's about to get one in and receives a foul. When Nato steps up for the free shot, Kogure convincingly says he won't be able to make it since it's his first time, but he throws both shots in and the game gets tied again as both teams annoyingly wonder who'll be the winner at the end. While Nato was practicing rugby, his upperclassmen had told him to run 100 laps, which was when he'd been spotted by a basketball team player and asked to play with them because of his physical prowess and speed. At the game, Sakuragi commits a foul when Nato falls to the ground on purpose. As Coach Anzai patiently looks at them, he figures out Muradai's real motive. Rukawa effortlessly scores another point, then passes it to Akagi, who dunks it in as well, and Mitsui maintains the record by scoring one as well. Then Muradai team starts getting under pressure. Later, a player starts annoying Sakuragi on purpose, so he elbows him, getting another foul as the referee asks him to hold up his hand to see if he has a brain or not. After that, as the ball gets thrown afar, Nato and Sakuragi both run towards it at the same time, but Sakuragi gets there first and successfully catches the ball. Before running towards the basket to slam it in, he gets stopped by the large, intimidating figure of Nato, but out of sheer desperation, slams the ball on his head, receiving another foul despite his protests. Getting dismissed for the 5th foul he's received, however, Shohoku still wins the match. As Sakuragi is angrily walking down the hallway, he gets stopped by a fat-looking boy who starts mocking him for dunking on another player's head, so they start fighting each other before Sakuragi walks away thinking to himself how he's supposed to face Haruko, who he abruptly runs into. But she consoles him, saying that it was just his first time. Later at the match, Sakuragi's sitting on the bench again and notices that 2 Kanen players have dropped by to see their match. When he gets subbed in, Kogure cheerily tells him not to mess up this time, which proves reasonable since Sakuragi commits a foul 10 seconds in and ends up receiving all 5 of them, even though they win the match. As they're walking back, he dejectedly wonders if he isn't the self-proclaimed genius he thought he was. That night, he goes to Akagi's house and asks how to get better at defense, to which he answers that he should think about the reasons why he gets dismissed from the court and work on them. Meanwhile, as Mitsui's walking on the footpath, he meets Tetsuo, who chats with him a bit before riding away on his motorcycle as some police cars chase after him. Sakuragi reaches the basketball gym and sees Rukawa intensely practicing by himself, so he tells him that he won't be dismissed next time and will score more points than him before running away. During a practice match, Sakuragi faces off against Ryota and tries to remember what Akagi said, but still unknowingly gets a foul before starting to angrily ask the referee why she always went after him, but she starts telling him off in return for not maintaining good defense. While they're playing, A group of boys from before start betting on how long Sakuragi will last in the third match, and the highest they go is 15 minutes, but Haruko annoyingly tells them that he'll stay in for at least 20 minutes before becoming distracted by Rukawa dunking a shot. As Sakuragi's walking home, he thinks of how Mitsui is also a rough guy but has still never committed a foul and accidentally reaches Akagi's home. He thinks about asking him for some help again when Haruko sees him from above and figures out why he's there. She tells him that she can help him practice, to which he happily agrees, but he can't concentrate because of her beauty, so Akagi steps in and takes her place. He tells him to use his eyes in an intimidating way to scare his opponents, so he utilizes this technique, scaring off people in and outside the court, and excitedly gets ready for the next match, but sleeps late the day of the match. Meanwhile, Mitsui sees some ruffians beating up Tetsuo and rushes over to protect him. Mitsui tries to protect him but refuses to fight, remembering his promise to Coach Anzai, and gets beaten up a lot before their leader tells him to bow down and beg him to stop, which he does, but his lackeys hold Mitsui tight as he grabs a cane and holds it high to smash it through his hands, making him unable to play basketball again. Meanwhile, Sakuragi hurriedly wakes up and crashes into his friends, who take him through a small alleyway and tell him to jump over a wall to get near the gymnasium. Coach Anzai and the team, who can't wait any longer, reluctantly reach the gym, where they start warming up as Akagi thinks about how he had wanted Mitsui and Sakuragi to both play as mains but bailed out on him. Sakuragi jumps over the wall and crashes into the lackeys holding Mitsui. He gets up and quickly understands the situation before his friends and Tetsuo tell them both to get to the gym while they take care of these. Sakuragi and Mitsui hurriedly reach the gym, and Mitsui opens the game with the rest of the team while Sakuragi impatiently waits at the bench. When Kagure trips over, Coach Anzai sends him in, and he starts trying to use his death stares to petrify the players in their tracks, but it doesn't work, and he gets 5 fouls all over again 15 minutes into the game, although they still win the match. While the team is practicing, Sakuragi's friends talk about how their efforts were basically wasted since Mitsui, who actually got beaten up, performed much better, and start cheering when he lands an impressive shot. Seeing this, Sakuragi jealously tries to dunk as well but smashes his face against the basket, and Akagi tells him that he's a decade early. He says that Sakuragi should focus on what he's good at, since the team always looks forward to his rebounds, since they can sometimes change the flow of the game. The next day, Shohoku faces off against Tsukubu, one of the 8 strongest teams. Although Tsukubu seemed to have an early lead, Shohoku soon caught up with Sakuragi's rebounds and Ryota's play and were able to defeat them rather easily. The next game is against Shoyo, a powerhouse, and Coach Anzai chooses Mitsui, Ryota, Akagi, Rukawa, and Sakuragi as the openers. Coach Anzai rounds the 5 players up and tells Sakuragi to take care of all the rebounds and round up points. Meanwhile, Shoyo's captain and coach, Fujima Kenji, motivates his players to give their all and tells them to not take Shohoku lightly, since they've become a much stronger team. As the match starts, Akagi accidentally throws the ball towards Sakuragi and receives a jump ball violation for not letting the ball first reach the peak of its height, as a teacher from Shoyo notes that the pressure from this big of a crowd is getting to them. As the game starts, he notes that all the players are taller than the ones at Shohoku, and their center, Hanagata, dunks a shot after passing it through Akagi's powerful defense. As Sakuragi faces off against a player holding the ball, he decides to not make any fouls today and show everyone what he's really capable of, but sticks his hand out purely on reflex and commits his first foul of the day before vowing to beat Hanagata. As Kagure sees Akagi's agitated movements, he remembers about their time as first years when he had tried to encourage them to play, even if they couldn't participate, and had practiced with him alone. As the match continues, everyone wonders how the agitated and worn-down Shohoku players will react to the calm and unshakable Shoyo players.
Hi guys! The first part of Slam Dunk was fun, wasn't it? Basketball's great! Let's play it together!